Morning, class. This is our first Wednesday online. Hopefully everything is going well with y'all. You're probably still asleep. No big deal. We're going to do a Photoshop Friday this week, and it's going to be themed on Halloween, because why not? So, the first thing we're going to do is go to fonts.adobe.com, and it's going to have you sign in with your enterprise ID, and boom, we're in there. So I'm going to go to the font packs, and I'm going to search up here for the Monster font pack. If you come down here, it's right there. You click on it, view pack, and you can activate it on your account. You'll note it. See, it already did it straight to my computer. If you're on AppStream, it might take a little longer. But it's got a bunch of cool fonts, and now we'll be able to use them once we're signed in to Adobe Creative Cloud. Now we're in Photoshop. I'm going to unlock the background layer by clicking over here on the lock, so that makes our background editable. And I'm going to add a new layer by clicking this plus button. If you can't see your layers dialog, you might need to pull up some of these or use these little arrows to shrink things like the libraries. Don't be afraid to play around with it, but remember, you can always hit Window and come to Layers. The shortcut is F7, but on a Chromebook you don't have the function keys, so Window, Layers will help you. And I just turned mine off. Great. But you can always turn it right back on. So, add a new layer, and we're going to put some text on top of this beautiful high school. I'm going to click the text tool, and I'm going to choose the font that I just got from that monster pack. There's a bunch of different fonts. I'm going to use the Schlop, I think was the name of it. What a name. So you can look for it like I'm doing, or you can just type in the name if you know the name of the font you want. I'm going to set the size to large. Yours might be on a different size. I'm going to set mine to 150. And I'm going to give myself a text box up here, and you'll see that it adds some sample font. I'm just going to type in Antioch High School, not with a K. All right, perfect. Then I'm going to click check, and I'm going to position it over here somewhere. That looks good. Alright, so we've got some spooky letters, but we have the high school, but we need to make the, it's like a overcast day out. Let's make it spooky. So we're going to go back to the background layer, and I'm going to add some adjustments. The first adjustment I'm going to add is the color lookup. So this is one up here, it's this grid. The color lookup will bring you to this properties screen. Here, under this pull-down menu, you can click it and come all the way down here past these film types to nightfromday.cube. When you click it, it will give your whole screen this crazy blue look. This is simulating nighttime. What we're going to do is change the blending mode, which is right here at the top of the layers panel. Instead of having it as normal, we are going to bring it down to soft light. Just for now, just use soft light. Great. So that made this stuff look like soft light. We're going to do one more adjustment layer before we do something cool. So the next adjustment we're going to do is this one right here. It's called the gradient map. And what this does is it lays a gradient over top of the colors on your screen. So we're going to click it, and the current gradient is, while this is very spooky, not what we were going for. It actually looks real spooks. So double click on the gradient here, and it will bring up this screen. And there's some gradients that you could choose from. And they might all look crazy, but don't worry. Just any of these will work. We really only need a 2-color one. So let's go to, if you click on these stops is what they call them gradient stops. You can change the color by clicking on the color. This one we're going to make a dark blue. And you'll see that it's changing the dark colors of the screen to blue. And then this one up here, instead of white, we're going to make it a light blue. Something like this, maybe a little more greenish light blue, a cyan sort of light blue. Perfect. Hit OK. So everything kind of looks like it's underwater now. We need to change the blending mode again. So come to blending mode and change this one to soft light. So now if I turn that off, you can see the difference between the color lookup and the gradient map. Both of them add a little bit of color cast to our picture that makes it look a little spookier. There's one more thing we need to do, and we're going to do that by changing this sky. And we're going to use a new feature that I have never used before. It just came out in Photoshop. So make sure you have your Photoshop updated to the most recent version. Come up here to edit and make sure you have the background layer selected. Then go to edit and come down to where it says sky replacement. This is brand new. I've never tried this before. And yours might not look like this one at first. It might give you a blue one at first. And while that is a little spooky, I want to go down to the sunsets. And I think one of these, play around with them, see what works. This one looks real spooky. So we'll go with that. There's a little slider so that you can see them larger. Once you select it, you can change the edge of it to add shadows. You can fade the edge of it. It's up to you to play with it. You can make it brighter or darker, change the temperature to warmer or cooler, and you can change the scale to zoom it in or out. I'm going to move the scale about there is good. How does it look? Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then I'm going to click OK, and you can see that it's replaced our sky with the spooky sky. All right. Then I'm going to wrap this up by going to File, Export. Quick export is a PNG. And I'm going to call it Spooky MHS. Let's save it. I already have one called that. Okay, let's call it Spooky MHS 2. Save. Wonderful. And now I'm going to email it to Miss Denoto. I knew she'd like it.